morning, it's Tess, and today is tip 267. And today I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this. I'm going to talk about the health benefits of being adventurous. And I looked this up, kind of related to, it kind of popped into my mind today about what does it mean to be adventurous and what are things that we can do to be more adventurous. And I think a lot of this has to do with like expanding our comfort circle. And what was kind of interesting, hi Thomas, good to see you. What's kind of interesting about this idea of being adventurous is I found an article, according to psychologists, being adventurous is about reaching out of it's about increasing your comfort zone. It's about growth, and it's about, it can be physical and it can be mental. Hi, Joan, good to see you. So I really love this article. And like I said, it's called The Health Benefits of Being Adventurous, according to psychologists. And they said for everyone, being adventurous is different, but it feels good, and it makes you, it fills your body with all those hormones that feel good, dopamine, serotonin, all that. And it also pointed out that adventures can be mental and they can be physical. So I had one yesterday that kind of turned into both. It was a little bit physical, but it was mental too. And I'll share more about that in a few minutes. They were talking about like mental challenges can be creating art, looking for innovative solutions, using your mind. That can also be an adventure. And what they were saying is it kind of sparks a breakthrough. It fires up the same part of the brain as rewards fire up, and it improves your brain health overall. And it kind of talked about, this article that I was reading talked about how to tap into your inner thrill seeker. And it kind of talked about that it's different for everyone, but you have to look for the things that give you that feel good, that give you that joy and that happiness. And knowing that it's physical, but it's also mental, or maybe even in my case yesterday, we had a little bit of both. It's challenges, it's creating art, it's innovative solutions, and it does improve your brain health. And the reason they say it improves your brain health is that because you're constantly learning, it creates new synapses and strengthens existing ones in your brain. And this process is known as neuroplasticity. It makes your brain sharper. And we're all looking for a sharper brain. It did give 4 steps on how to become an adventure seeker. And the number 1 was change comes more easily. That's why you want to choose to be an adventure seeker. Hi, Joan. And wait till you hear the story I'm going to tell you shortly. So number 1, seek adventure, whether it's physical, mental, or combine both. And it will come more easily the more you do it. It allows you to be more comfortable being uncertain and seeking, as Doc V says, continuing down the path, shooting and redirecting as you go. It gives you more of that push to keep moving forward instead of staying stuck. It says that you can be adventurous by things like being curious about the world, online drawing classes, workouts you've never done, learning a new skill, considering ways that you've been successful, taking chances and seek more opportunities for that, being more courageous. So I think those are all good things, and those are feel-good things. And I love this because I have always been a person who seeks mental challenges. I love solving problems. This goes back to my childhood with my grandma, finding 4-leaf clovers, solving puzzles, brain teasers, word finds. I think that's why she stayed sharp up until the day she went home, because she was constantly seeking mental challenges. Even though her body was no longer active, her mind never stopped, and she sought it and sought it and sought it. I mean, we didn't go to visit her unless we were bringing word find puzzles, brain teasers, something that allowed her to move forward. It's almost unfortunate she wasn't here in the day of the internet, because she would have found great joy in the brain teasers that are available today. So remembering, number 1 is the more you do it, the more easily it comes to you. Number 2 is your confidence or your comfort circle continues to grow the more you engage in it. It's adrenaline pumping, whether it's mental or physical. And it also helps you to build confidence in your abilities. The more you push past and create a bigger comfort circle, you become more proud of yourself and you become more confident to do more. Then a sense of flow takes over, and you get what they call in the zone. And there's a lot of groups that talk about getting into the zone and how you're so much more productive when you get into the zone. There's actually a group Doc V introduced us to that was about getting in the flow or in the zone. And I know even when I work at work, if I get into the flow, it's like, don't bother me, because I can produce tons of work very quickly because I've narrowed in and it feels good. It's joyful and it feels good, and I can just push through anything. So finding that place of in the flow, I love that place and I seek it all the time. And it does say, if you looked at our brains in the flow state, you'd likely see rhythmic spikes of dopamine, which is associated with engagement and pleasure. So no wonder all these things feel good, or why we seek it, and why when we don't have it, we kind of feel lower. So the last pointer they said is life is much more fulfilling when you're living adventurous, when you're making your comfort circle bigger, when you're looking for ways to learn, whether it's mental challenges, physical challenges, or a combination of both. It's exciting and it helps you to propel forward. It says adventurous people tend to have stronger feelings of satisfaction about how they're living their lives. They have a sense of flourishing. It feels good, flourishing. Accomplishment brings joy. And I will recap these 4 things in a few minutes, but I'm going to share a story. I went out on I live in Michigan, and we hit fall colors, and my dad just wanted to go for just a short little ride. So I went with my mom and dad just to kind of take a ride around to look for fall colors. And as we were driving around, we went down the road, and my mom got really excited about this house she saw. She absolutely was attracted to this house. It was beautiful. She loved it, and she just kept talking about it, but I didn't see it. So when we did a spin around and we were headed back home, we went down that same road to see if we could find it again so that I could see this house. And I go, she kept saying, it looks like a Halloween house. And I go, was it decorated for Halloween? She goes, no, it just has all the, it just has, she goes, it reminds me a little bit of the house, you know, that I grew up in down south. She goes, but it's got class. It's got so much about it. I'm drawn to this house. I am so drawn to this house. And I probably one day lived in this, you know, if we were alive in past lives, I probably lived in this house. I am so drawn to this house. I just love this house. So we flipped back around and we're going down the road, and I spot it, and I go, Mom, I thought you said it didn't have Halloween decorations. She goes, it doesn't. I go, I think I just saw the house. So we turned around, we went back, and she's like, that's the house. That's the house. So we get out, and my mom was so attached to this house, so zoned in on the house, she didn't even see that they had like the skeleton of this big, and I mean 12-foot animal. I don't even want to call it a horse because it didn't have that look of the horse, but when you think of Halloween decorations, it had one of those carriages with the open like hearse area with the big skeleton animal that like pulls it. It's one of those Halloween things. And it had a skeleton on the front porch. But my mom was so zoned in on the house, she didn't even see the Halloween decorations. And it didn't have like lots of decorations, just a couple little ones. But it was so funny that she was so attached to it. And she was so excited. And I go, well, take some pictures of it. And she went outside, and when she came back in the car, we were looking at the pictures, and it was like a cloud over the top of the pictures. They didn't work. And I go, well, Mom, you have an old Android phone. Let's go outside with my iPhone and we'll take some pictures. So we get back outside and we're taking pictures, and I'm like, this is kind of strange because they have it like roped off. Maybe they used this house for a Halloween house at one point because it was roped off and it said stop, no trespassing. And I thought, this is kind of weird because usually, you know, people don't. I said, maybe this house is so beautiful in its heyday that people are attached to it. And I just thought it was so strange. And so we took a few pictures, and we got some good pictures, and we're driving down the road. And my dad goes, I wonder how much that house costs. So I started looking up online, and all of a sudden it pops up. This is one of Michigan's top haunted houses. So we start doing investigation and searching. And so I sat with it yesterday, and I didn't share this. I posted 2 pictures of this house because my mom said, this is her dream house. She was so attached to this house. So I didn't comment on the post yesterday that we found out it was one of the top haunted houses in Michigan, which explains the no trespassing, the ropes off where you couldn't get close to the house. But we had no idea. My mom was just attracted to that house. So then this morning I was walking with her and I said, do you care if I share that it's one of the well-known Michigan haunted houses? It's called the Bruce Mansion. And she goes, no, 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 share it. And she goes, by the way, this is going to be that story that lives on forever, isn't it? You're going to tell everybody about this. And I said, now that I have your permission, I absolutely am. And she said, okay, well, I actually went online last night and I found pictures of the inside of the house. And it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful house. So she shared those with me. So I'm going to go back to that post and share that it is one of Michigan's top 10 haunted houses. But that's what I wanted to say. Adventures sometimes come. Mental challenges, a little bit of a ride. We stopped and had cider and donuts and spent a little bit of time together. But it was an adventure, and it's going to be a story that lives on forever. My mom was so attached to that house, she didn't even notice the Halloween decorations in front of it. And she has no fear of it being one of the top haunted houses, because she said today, if it was in livable shape and it was available, she'd live in it. But it was so funny that she was totally oblivious to everything that went on. Jane really likes the haunted house. Yeah, and it was amazing. And it's so funny because today we already walked this morning and she's like, this story is going to live on forever. And I go, if you have no objections to it, it absolutely is. Because what are the odds? And I thought it was so strange. She didn't see the Halloween decoration. She just zoned in. And my mom's not one to talk like that, but she goes like, if we lived before, she goes, I lived in this house. I lived in this house. This house speaks to me. And this was long before we ever found out it was one of the top haunted houses in Michigan. It was so funny. But she has no fear of it at all, and she actually researched it. So it became a mental activity, something that we did yesterday to investigate more about the house. So I'm going to go back to the original post with pictures of the house, and I'm going to add the little update that it is one of Michigan's top haunted houses. And then I'm going to also attach the link to the pictures on the inside, because the inside of that house was beautiful. But Mom, you are right. That story will live on forever because it's a pretty awesome story. And it was a chance where we took a little bit of mental activity, a little bit of physical activity, and we created an adventure. And it was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys can have that kind of a day. I'll go over these top 4 tips. The health benefits of being adventurous. Remember, it's physical and mental. Both of them can help you expand your comfort circle. It's actually in Michigan, and it's in... they either called it Brown or Cody, Michigan. I will put the link. It actually has the address right on the article that was in the newspaper. It's up in the Thumb area. And it's called the Bruce Mansion. But it was just amazing. And the house is gorgeous. And when I saw the pictures of the inside, gorgeous house. But it was just amazing to think that Mom didn't even, and it was a beautiful house in its day. So I will share that information on the post with the original pictures from yesterday with my mom. And it was beautiful. Take those adventures. And remember, adventures include mental adventures and physical adventures. And bring them together and make your comfort circle bigger. It is going to be a story that lives on in my family. I will always share it because it was so cute, and there's no fear. My mom just totally loved that house. And that is kind of the thing, the style from like Southern Illinois, where a lot of her family did come from. And they were beautiful homes. So just the 4 tips that they talked about being adventurous, according to psychologists, is remember, change comes more easily. Number 1, change comes more easily the more you engage in mental and physical adventures. And that can be something as simple as taking a class or creating a puzzle or learning a new skill. Your confidence will keep growing. Your comfort circle will keep growing the more that you engage in this type of activity. And after a period of time, a sense of flow will set in, and it will feel good, and it brings you joy and those hormones, dopamine, serotonin, that make you feel good. And the last part of it is life is much more fulfilling when you live it with adventures, physical adventures and mental adventures. And I'm going to say I agree. So if you go back and look for that picture, yes, that's it. Thomas, you got it. It's the Bruce Mansion in Brown City. And I will put a link to the article I found about it. And I will put a link to some of the pictures that we found for the inside of the home. And it was just beautiful. But it's so funny. I'm sure the people, because there was a truck in front of the house when we were there, they were probably mad thinking that we were chasing haunted houses. We had no idea it was considered one of the top haunted houses. Mom was just totally attracted to that house. We did not know the history of the story when we actually went to look at the house, but that is going to be a family story that lives on forever. So today, you guys, find a little story, a little physical, a little mental, and make a memory that you can share forever. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate you guys all so much. And Thomas hit it. It's the Bruce Mansion in Brown City, Michigan, and it's up in the thumb. But go out there, look at something new, and create your memory today. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.